Okay, I think we're live.
I think so.
I didn't pick music. We'll do that at the end.
That's
All
fine.
right. Hello, friends, and welcome to the 66th episode of the Original Gamers podcast. My name is Joel Watt, otherwise known as Obi Watt Kenobi, and today I am joined by Nolan Brown. Say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Patrick will be joining us later. Huge Cow Patty is normally with us, but today it's just me and Icy White Falcon. So anyway, today we are talking about Sly 2 Band of Thieves, which is the second game in the Sly Cooper trilogy, which you can get on PS3 or PS2 is the original console it was on.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that later. But for right now, how you doing, Nolan?
I'm all right. I had a kind of a busy 2 weeks. Let's see. Friday, two of my best friends got married, and
Awesome.
I got to be in. Actually, I was in the bridal party. Funny enough.
Oh, that's cool. I've done that.
Because originally I was a groomsman, and then people were saying that there were too many people in the wedding party, so they had to like trim down 2 people on each side. So unfortunately, I got cut from the groom side. And then when the bride was going through, she got her too. And then like 2 more of her bridesmaids weren't able to even make it to the wedding.
Oh no!
So me and my buddy got put on her side. We got upgraded, so it was kind of fun. Yeah,
that's kind of funny.
Yeah, so that was a fun time. Then let's see what else. Oh, looks like finally we're gonna have a new hire at my job, which will be nice. Take some of that stress off of me because
you've been under what's the word? Understaffed for a little while.
Yeah, for about coming up on a month now. So that'll be nice. That hopefully should be this week or next week. Hey, Anifix. She should be hired, which is cool because I already know who she is. Like I've known her for a little while now. So that's pretty good. Let's see what else is going on. No, that's about it.
Work stuff.
Nothing. Yeah, pretty much.
That is that. Welcome to adult life.
I know.
For our younger listeners, right now your life revolves around school and trying to graduate and get into a better school, maybe, and trying to graduate from that so you can get a good degree or whatever. Once you start working, that's all your life becomes about. You're like, yay, I get a paycheck. I can buy video games. Guess what? You're not going to have any time to play them because you're going to be working all the time.
So true.
So welcome to adult life where work sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, I like my job. It's a little stressful sometimes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, thanks for asking. My day was crazy. I mean, I've had a bit of a stressful week. It's on and off for the last couple of weeks. I thought this last week was not super stressful. On Tuesday, I had to record with my pastor the next Wednesday's sermon. So, he recorded on Tuesday, but then he taught a different message on Wednesday. The one we recorded on Tuesday was the one for the next week that he taught the next day. That was utterly confusing. So
on Tuesday he recorded next Wednesday's service.
Yeah, so this Wednesday coming up, okay. And so that wasn't super stressful. I just had to make sure that the camera and the audio didn't fail during recording.
Yeah.
So everything worked. Went for over an hour and it was all good. But then come this morning. And, the reason why we recorded Wednesday's message early is because he was going to be out of town. And we have a live radio show. And he doesn't want the radio show to be inconsistent with guest speakers. But on Sundays, there is no live show. So it's okay to have guest speakers on Sundays. So, we just, brought in one of the pastors and he taught a topical message. And which is normal for most churches. I just realized we go through the Bible verse by verse, very Calvary Chapel style expository. Sundays is a little more topical than normal, but it's usually about one of the topics we're covering on Wednesday. You know, we cover a big chunk on Wednesday, and he picks a topic from that chunk, talks about it on Sunday. Anyway, since he wasn't there, that didn't happen. It was just a random topic that the other pastor chose. Anyway, getting to the point of this story. So where do I begin? Oh, so before we recorded Wednesday's message, I mean, like immediately before, like 2 minutes, he recorded kind of an intro video for the pastor that was going to be teaching it, which coincidentally is his father-in-law. So anyway, he's like, hey, everybody, I'm out of the town because, you know, I'm celebrating my anniversary with my wife, and, you know, my father-in-law is teaching, and, you know, her dad is great, so you're going to love him. You've heard him before. And, you know, typical stuff. And then he talked about, you know, what we're going to learn on Wednesday, just to kind of hook people, make them come back. Which is normally what he does on Sunday mornings. He'll hook on Sunday morning and say, you know, this Wednesday we're talking about blah, blah, blah. So you got to come back. And I totally forgot to cut that 2 minutes out and turn it into its own video. And so the administrative pastor who doesn't teach, he comes up to me and he goes, you have that announcement video ready? And I'm sitting there, I'm playing my DS. I don't have it with me, but I'm playing it, and I look up in panic. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot. And I snap it shut. And I run over and I grab my MacBook and I start frantically editing. And this is like 2 minutes before service starts. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to get it ready time. And so, you know, they get service started. And I forget, oh yeah, of course, you know, we start off with worship music because this is a normal church. And so they're doing their worship music while the video is rendering, and it finishes, and I run out there with the USB stick and I plug it in to our Pro Presenter computer, and I have to wait for the set to finish. And so then in like the transition period where everybody's meeting and greeting, like, you know, I get it on the computer real quick.
Take a minute, go talk to somebody and like introduce yourself.
Yeah, that part. So anyway, so I get it on the Pro Presenter computer real quick, and I'll get it loaded in Pro Presenter. I'm like, okay, this should work. I didn't have any time to test it, but it should work. And so we the video plays, or well, we had another announcement video before that. So, you know, we start off announcements with it's actually the pastor's wife talking about women's ministry events coming up, because again, she's also out of town with him on their anniversary. So, you know, so she has the video and she's like, hey ladies, come check out all these things, and so that ends. And so then the administrative pastor gets up there and he's like, okay, so here's all the other announcements, and then here's our pastor with another video. And so it plays and everything goes off smooth. First service, you know, the associate pastor gets up there and he teaches, and it's great. And you know, we always have a very short amount of time between first and second service because, yeah, second service is always super full and first service starts early. And, you know, we don't have a big gap between services. Otherwise we'd have to start way even earlier. We don't want to be there at 5:30. So we start at 8 so we can get there at 6.
Gotcha. No, I get that.
So, but then the next service is at 9:30. And so it's like, we have to get this service, you know, done, you know, like done by 9:15. So we have at least enough time to transfer over. At 9:31, the power went out on the whole block. I'm not even kidding you. So first service, stressing so hard to get everything ready to go, and we barely made it in time. And then everything fell apart. It just and it was out of my control. This is literally my nightmare, to have all the power in the whole building go out at once. Okay. And thankfully this was a choir Sunday. So we actually had enough volume for worship without amplification to, you know, actually fill the room with sound. And I mean, unfortunately nothing was being broadcast to live stream. And, you know, people in the video sanctuary venue would, they weren't getting anything.
Yeah.
But at least people in the main sanctuary, they could sing along. And of course, it was a song everybody knew. It's a good, chorus song, "Oh Happy Day."
Oh yeah.
So everybody's clapping along and having a great time. It's how the church has worshiped for 2,000 years. Who needs electricity?
Exactly.
and so it was great. But after, I think once the second song started, power came back, and so then it was a mad dash to try and get everything working properly. And the computers booted up, and the TVs turned on, and the cameras came back, and the live stream was going out, and the mics were working, sound system, everything. But the signal splitters to get all the feed from ProPresenter to its different destinations, those were freaking out because they weren't properly power cycled in order. They all turned off at once and they all turned on at once, which is not how they're supposed to work. You have to kind of start at the source and turn on each splitter in sequence to the destinations. So, yeah. And by the time I realized why the screens weren't working properly, the sermon had already started. And so there was no way I could get up there to fix it.
Of course.
And so I had to wait for second service to end. Yeah. Then third service went off without a hitch, because we actually get 30 minutes between second service and third service. And
that's nice.
Yeah. So I went up there and power cycled everything properly. And yeah. Oh my gosh, today was crazy. And so then immediately after third service, our new worship pastor had kind of a luncheon to meet all the new people who were interested in serving in the worship ministry. I mean, most of them were returning folks with our previous worship pastor, who left under good circumstances. He just felt the Lord calling him elsewhere. And, we were okay with that,
Gotcha.
We got to get a new one after a year and 5 months. But anyway, so I had to, didn't have to be there for that, but I wanted to be, and I helped out, and ended up staying later than I had planned. And then I was like, oh no, I've never played Sly 2 and I haven't played it all week. And so I ran out to find a copy. And of course, Best Buy didn't have any used PS3 games anymore. They're completely current console.
Yeah.
And yes, and a fix. My church has 3 services because we cannot house 1,000 people in a 300-seat auditorium.
Unfortunately.
Where was I going with this? So
Best Buy
then,
is current consoles.
So yeah, my Best Buy is current consoles only, no used PS3 games. So I go across the street to the GameStop, and they don't have any. They don't have this game. They have actually a pretty good selection of PS3 games. They just don't have this game, which is the Sly Collection, which is exactly what I wanted. But so then I was like, okay, the mall is 15 minutes if I rush. So
yeah,
I didn't really speed because I like my gas mileage. So it takes me, the normal time, 20 minutes. and so I get there and I'm like, okay, the classic game store is right here. So I walk in the door and there is a conspicuously empty space where my memory is telling me the game store should be. I'm like, did they move? Because it looks like they're closed permanently. I hope they moved. So I look at the directory, and the directory says they're in this space. And I'm like, okay, so I go to that space, which I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I saw that number on the window that was empty. So I go there, and it's the same place. I'm like, dang it. Okay. So then I do a lap around the top part of the mall. I'm like, okay, maybe they moved. I'm hoping beyond hope that they moved. And they didn't move. I'm like, all right, well, there's a GameStop in this mall, even though I passed 2 other GameStops on the way here. And so it's like, all right, I'm going to this GameStop. This is my last chance, because I'm pretty sure that the classic game store in town, that's like 10 minutes from me, not even 10 minutes, it's like 6 minutes from me. I'm pretty sure they're permanently closed also. Like the last 3 times I've been there, the door was not open. The door was locked. So anyway,
that's a shame.
Yeah. So I go in, and one of the machines, the card machine is not working. So that one is cash only, and so everybody with a card is at the other machine. And of course, that line is going right by the USB PS3 games. I'm just like, excuse me, I'm sorry, pardon me, I need to get here. And that about that time, when the supervisor is like, everybody, can you move over to this side? Which was actually in front of the register that was working.
Yeah.
So this area is for people who are for browsing games, and I was like, I'm the only one browsing games. So anyway, and I'm digging through all the S's, and I'm like, it's not there, it's not there, it's not there, and so I get to the end of the row, and I'm like, well, maybe it continues, and okay, cool, more S's, and here it is at the back. I'm like, oh, praise the Lord. So then I get in this line, and 15 minutes. I texted you that picture of the game when I pulled it out of the shelf, and I didn't get home until right when the show was supposed to start.
You did?
I got home right when the show was supposed to start. That's how long it took me to get to the line and drive home.
No,
so you can look at your phone. It was at like 4:12 or something, just over an hour ago.
Oh, no. Okay, you sent it to
sorry.
Okay.
I sent it to
I'm like, I didn't get a text.
I did.
Sorry. I'm like, what?
Wrong terminology. Same.
Gotcha.
Same idea. But yeah,
No
I sent that picture to the Facebook group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry for the panic attack from that earlier. I'm like,
oh yeah, Nolan texted me like right after 4. He's like, hey man, are you ready? I was like, we're starting an hour. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, right. Yeah. My bad. I'm like 7 his time. So I'm like freaking out like, oh. And then obviously that was not the case.
It's all good. So anyway, I actually had a pretty chill week up until today. I was dog sitting all weekend, which is super cool. These dogs were awesome. Like, one was a little yip dog. He was a Maltese poodle, which is a white little fluffy monster. And he warmed up to me after the first day. He was cool. And the other dog, I don't even know what kind of dog this is. It looks like a Rottweiler, but with a corgi's face, and it's brown and white like a corgi.
That's an image.
Yeah, it's big like a Rottweiler.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he was probably 75 pounds, and he had the same texture of fur like a Rottweiler. It was not long like a corgi. It was short and thick like a Rottweiler. And he had a stubby tail, a little bit longer than a typical Rottweiler's tail. Kind of like if a corgi had its tail cropped.
Okay.
But I mean, the ears stuck up, had the long pointy snout, and he was awesome. He was super chill inside the house, and when you let him out, he just would not stop playing. He was always about fetch. He was smart too. There were these little pedestal pillars. There were these short pillars. They had a fence that was like tall enough to keep the little dog on the patio, but the big dog would just jump right over it. So anyway, then there were these pillars on the side of the gate that were just barely taller than the fence. And so he'd walk right up, and he put his front paws on the pillars, and he dropped the toy and look at you. And as soon as you picked it up, he would get into like that ready stance, where his front is down, his back is up, and
tail goes.
And he would never give up. His short little stubby tail was going like this. And and he would never stop playing. He would play until you threw your arm out. So he was awesome. And I they paid me for the weekend, and I just got to be home alone. It was awesome. And then today happened. It was not awesome.
And today I'm super stressed out.
Yeah. But normally I ask Patrick how he was doing, but he's not here. We'll talk to him later, hopefully, if he shows up.
And if he does, he'll probably explain what's going on. But
yeah. So today we are talking about Sly Cooper 2 Band of Thieves. I think it's actually just called Sly 2, not Cooper.
Is it Sly 2? I wasn't sure. I'm like,
you put Cooper in the document, but it's just Sly 2. That's how I see it stylized here on the cover.
Okay.
So anyway, which is fine. Sly 2, Sly Cooper 2, everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. Super strong bad. And anyway, technically Homestar Runner, but so this game was developed by Sucker Punch Studios. If you don't know them, they made the first Sly game.
They did.
No. What other games have they made? Top of your head? No.
The only thing I can ever remember them from is Sly Cooper. I'm sure they've done other things, but like
founded in 1997.
Oh, Infamous. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Infamous.
Rocket Robot on Wheels for the N64. That wonderful cult classic. It's an action platformer like Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario 64, Collectathon. So yeah, that's a fun little game. Weird little rolling mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did Infamous on the PS3 and 4. Yeah, part of the platformer trio, which would include Naughty Dog and Insomniac. And have
Yeah.
we talked about, other than Spyro, we talked about any Insomniac games?
I think we've mentioned Ratchet and Clank. I
But
know
we
that.
haven't done an episode on it.
Um, I thought we did the first one.
Uh,
Trying to think now.
no, we haven't done Ratchet and Clank.
No, we haven't. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
And so, but we did Spyro 1. So
Yeah.
as soon as Patrick gets his camera ready.
Yeah.
No, this
Anyway.
this is it.
Oh.
I'm not pulling out my
Okay.
lights
See,
and stuff.
I
Boo.
put up my green screen in 60 seconds. You should be
Oh,
proud of
yeah,
me.
I have to move my bed and bring lights in the room and a whole bunch of other stuff. So
well,
that's nice.
we just barely started talking about the game, so we can kind of jump back for a second. And how has your week been, Patrick?
It's been
What you
good.
been up to?
It's been pretty good. Doing a lot of planning, CrossForge gaming stuff. Anyone who's been following us very closely may know that about not quite a month ago now, I guess, or maybe what's the date? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. Sometime a while back, I and Josh and Jimmy were all in the same location. We were at Jimmy's place, and we recorded an episode of Across the Forge that I've been working a lot on. So Across the Forge, for anybody here who doesn't know, is a show where I interviewed somebody, and most of the time it's just me and the other person on Google Hangouts like we are right now, just talking. There's not a whole lot of production into it. But this one in particular is a good friend of Jimmy's. He's got a really, really awesome story and a ministry and a book that's coming out. Actually, I think the book's coming out this week.
Nice.
So that's why I needed to get this interview edited and looking as nice as my ability to do so would allow. So I just wrapped that up today. Adobe Premiere finished mixing it down maybe an hour ago, and I'll be uploading that to the CrossForge Gaming YouTube channel. I don't know when we're expecting to publish it, but it will be this week because we want to make sure that it's very close to when the book comes out. So I've been working really hard on that. I formed a competitive Splatoon 2 team for
Very cool.
CFG. Okay. So we haven't had any sort of official meeting or anything yet. It's just we've got who's going to be on the team, and there's actually enough that we could have 2 teams if we wanted.
But it's good to have subs.
Yes, that's the idea, is to kind of have a rotation. So we've played. Some of us have played together a few times this week, but like I said, nothing official. We haven't had any official practices or anything. Some of these guys are really good. Some of the guys are fairly average, like myself. I'm fairly average Splatoon 2 player. I don't.
Naturally, you're the captain.
What's that?
So naturally, you're the captain.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah,
obviously.
I asked Shelly Waltar of Geeks Under Grace to join the team, and she was actually the first person that I asked, and she very enthusiastically, in all caps, said that she was interested. She's also very, 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 very good at the game. I suspect once the dust settles, she will wind up being the team captain, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. I am happy to be a team player, but I don't think that I'm necessarily good enough to be calling the shots. So, but that's going to be fun. Yeah, just a lot of CFG stuff is going on.
So if you're not reading the chat, NFX is asking, how big is your team? Like, do you have an exact number?
Right now there are 8 of us. Maybe there's 9 of us in there, and I don't know how serious everybody who is in there is going to wind up taking it, and that's fine. I mean, I just threw out into our group and another group called Theology Gaming that I was doing this, and most of the people who said they were interested all were like, but I've got a family, I've got a full-time job, or I'm in college. And I'm like, yeah, you and everybody else who's on the team, like, don't worry about it. For a while, it's probably going to just be a bunch of us who are having fun. But my goal is to hopefully
not going to be fun.
Yeah. I'll just get angry about it. Yeah, my goal is for it to eventually be we get good enough that maybe we can start competing in some online tournaments, and who knows, maybe get invited to a Nintendo thing, because I feel like they did an invitational at E3 for Splatoon 2 this past year. Of course, the game wasn't officially out yet, so it would have been probably some demo version or beta version of it, but anyway, that's the goal.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Cool. Very cool. Well, let's try and transition back to this game we're supposed to be talking about. Have you played this Sly 2?
Unfortunately, no. I haven't actually played any of the Sly games.
Darn it. Yeah, I've only played a bit of Sly 1, maybe about 5 hours, and then I spent an hour today after work, after I stayed late, trying to find the Sly collection that I should have bought 2 weeks ago. And so I barely made it back in time for the podcast, and so I have not played it either. But Nolan has,
so it's
right?
all on me then. I have.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, I've seen the completionist episode, so I kind of have an idea what this game's about.
That's like playing it, right?
Right, yeah, it's totally like playing it. You can get the full experience in 30 minutes or less with the completionist.
Absolutely.
Or your money back.
Money. I paid money to watch those episodes. You got ripped off. You paid time to watch. Anyway,
I want time back.
Anyway, so we were kind of talking about Sucker Punch, the developers of this game. So they're known for Rocket Robot on Wheels. You ever play that game, Patrick?
I've heard of it, but no, I have not played it.
It's a cult classic these days on the N64. They've also done the Infamous games on PS3 and 4. So, have you? You're not a Sony guy, so you probably never played those.
No, I haven't. Most of Sucker Punch's stuff is the kind of thing that would interest me, but
you haven't played it.
I just haven't played. What else have they made? I feel like I've played some they made.
It's really
Rocket,
just like
Sly,
Sly Cooper and Rocket. The only other thing is that Sucker Punch teamed up with Capcom for Street Fighter X Tekken, because Cole McGrath, who's the protagonist for Infamous,
that's right,
was a guest character on that. So yeah,
I did. Now that I think about it, I did play all the way through Infamous 1 and Second Son. I can't believe I forgot about that. I haven't played Infamous 2.
Second Son was not that good.
No,
that's what I've heard.
I actually,
it was just a hot pile of garbage.
Yeah, and I that's why I can't believe that I forgot about it. I bought my PS4 on the promise that Second Son was going to be amazing. And I actually think that one of the reasons why my PS4 collected dust until I traded in for my Switch was that I was kind of a little sour about how bad Second Son was.
But there's so many other things on there, though.
And I'm sure that there are, but every time something came out for Wii U at the time or Xbox One, and now the Switch. And honestly, let's see. Since I got my Switch, I have not played a game on the Xbox One at all. I play some PC games, but the Switch occupies all of my time. And with games like Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff coming out on the Switch, I might not need a PC anymore for all I know. So no, I
still
need a
like
PC.
the
I'm like,
games.
I don't believe you. No.
Yeah, no, I still need a PC to stream and things like that. But
I'm actually really impressed with my PC. It did not hiccup even once during that 8 hours that I did. So
oh yeah, for Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie, like
Mhm.
when I stopped the recording, it said 0 lost frames, and I was like, "Holy
Nice.
crap!" It's never happened. So
I'd have been like, I don't know if I believe you. You're lying to me.
I should have taken a screenshot. Anyway, so yeah. I'm actually really surprised that Sucker Punch has only done Rocket, Sly, and Infamous, but yeah, apparently Second Son did well enough, like not in reviews but in sales, to get a sequel called First Light, but it was even worse. It's actually their lowest rated game.
Wasn't that like a DLC though? I thought First Light was like a DLC for.
No,
Second
you're thinking
Son.
of Festival of Blood.
Well, that was for Infamous too.
Yeah.
No, I thought First Light was like a DLC.
You know, it's on. I've noticed on I've noticed on PlayStation platforms a lot of the quote DLC can be purchased as a standalone game, like that. The Uncharted 4 expansion pack or whatever, you don't have to have Uncharted 4 for that to work.
It's a standalone
Far Cry
downloadable
Blood
content.
Dragon.
Right. So I think that's what this. What would you call it? Was Second Light or
First Light?
First Light.
First Light. Yeah.
First Light for Second.
I think that's how that worked. Was
yes, that's exactly what I'm on the Wikipedia page. That's what it says. It's a standalone DLC.
Mhm.
So, so there's no physical copy that you can buy of the game, even though you don't need the companion game for it.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Just like you said with the Uncharted, what is it called? I don't even remember.
I don't know.
I've seen ads for it and it looks cool and I want to play it, but I cannot remember what it's called.
I don't know.
It's Uncharted with women.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So it's Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. We've come full circle. It's Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Because that's what Uncharted is. It's Tomb Raider, but with a guy this time.
Tomb Raider with a guy.
But then Tomb Raider is Indiana Jones with a woman.
So really, what we need to do is when the next Indiana Jones movie comes out, Indy 6, we need an Indiana Jones game that's just as good. It'll probably be a Lego game.
It will be a Lego game.
Because let's face it, Lucasfilm is not interested in making real games anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Dude, I would watch a Lego Indiana Jones movie in a heartbeat.
Yeah. No, they're gonna make a real movie. What I'm saying is they're not gonna make a real game.
Oh no!
It's gonna be a Lego game.
I would play that in a heartbeat.
There just might be a Lego Indiana Jones eventually too, because Harrison Ford is getting old.
Well, there already is one.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about like movie. If there can be a Lego Batman movie, then I don't see why it can't be Lego everything.
I think DC is a little more loose with their licenses for Batman. So
that's true.
I know Lucasfilm used to be pretty loose with the Indiana Jones license. You got the Young Indiana Jones Adventures and all the terrible Indiana Jones games that came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
But now Disney owns it. So
Disney, and they've got an iron grip on so many things.
Disney and Nintendo, man. It's like
and Apple. Apple's the worst.
Yeah. No, Nintendo's the worst. Every single video on my YouTube page has been claimed.
Oh.
Every single one.
Oh, yeah. I was
the
actually
exception
talking...
of like the 4 like PS3 games I did.
I was talking to a guy at church today. This is like super tangent right here. He was talking about his son. He was thinking about going into law school because he wanted to be a corporate lawyer for Nintendo. And I'm like, oh, so he can be one of those jerks that sues people that make Metroid games in their basement. Because that's what Nintendo does. So, whereas Sega goes and
Sega
finds
hires
these
you.
guys
So
and says,
Sega
hey,
does what Nintendo don't.
make a Sonic game that's better than anything we've ever done. And Nintendo goes, I'm going to sue you into poverty.
Seriously.
But whatever. Call me a weeaboo if you want. I'm totally bought into the Nintendo hype.
Oh yeah,
No, I know.
I do it too. I'm not. Every time I like complain about Apple fans, and then they go, "You're a Nintendo fan." I'm like, "Shut up! I don't remember asking you."
When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Talking about your issues. Come on now. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sly 2.
Sly 2. This podcast has gone completely off the rails.
That's why people come and watch.
Right? They don't come here for the video games. They come here for the nonsense.
Right.
Yeah. Well, look at the Tomb Raider episode.
We had one better. We had one better.
The Mark of Cry.
That's right.
That one actually published, but there was another one that didn't.
Oh, that one that we lost. Yeah.
You lost one?
I'm really. Yeah.
We lost one, and it was amazing, and none of us had played the game, but it was still really good.
It was a Prince of Persia game.
Prince of Persia. That's right.
And unfortunately, and unfortunately, LJ, who doesn't work with us anymore, but he had a little computer failure, and we lost that episode. And it was a good episode. And that was before we were recording straight to YouTube, so there was no way to get it back.
There was no backup. Yeah. But it's
in fact,
all good.
I think if you go to the podcast feed, there's an episode there where I apologize for not being there, and it's called not episode and whatever the number was.
That's right.
Supposed to be, so.
Anyway,
Sly
2. So this is about an anthropomorphic cartoon raccoon who is a master thief and his band of buddies. And in this game, unlike the previous game, you actually can take control of the other characters in the game. His two buddies, the hippos and Bentley. And what are they? Manny
is the hippo, and Bentley is the turtle.
Yeah. Manny and Bentley. Manny, why is he a hippo and not a manatee? It should be Manny the manatee,
right? You would imagine so.
I had a friend named Manny, and a buddy of mine didn't know what a manatee was. He just heard the name of the animal, and so he said Manny the manatee. Manny was not a small dude; he was a big dude, and he got really mad. And my buddy Wes was not a small dude either; he was a pretty big dude, and he's like, "Who are you calling a manatee?" And then we had to explain to Wes what a manatee was, and he's like, "I'm so sorry."
Here, I'm actually, because I know there are a lot of people out there that are probably like, "What the heck's a manatee?" I'm
a mermaid.
Pulling up a
I'm
pulling up a
fattest
picture.
Mermaid you've ever seen in your life.
Can
you put a picture up?
Yeah, I'm gonna put one up right now. So
right now. Anyway, they're also called a sea cow.
Yeah, sea cow.
Because they are vegetarians, and they are really big and round like a cow.
And they move slowly.
And they move slow. They don't moo though. They just kind of make little fluffy.
Probably.
Noises.
There you go. I just kind of slapped it. I just
slapped
it.
Very blurry picture of a manatee.
Is it? Oh, that's I see. I can't figure this out. Some days when I use XSplit as my camera, it looks really, really good, and then other days it doesn't. And I honestly don't have any idea what the.
It's not terrible, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, that's a manatee.
That's a manatee.
That picture gives you no scale. They are usually very round in the front.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sorry for derailing this podcast again. I'm tired.
Don't apologize for that.
So Manny the hippo and Bentley the tortoise or turtle, probably a tortoise.
I think he's a tortoise now that I think about it. Yeah.
So, Bentley is like indestructible, if I remember correctly.
Mm,
Like you can block in his shell or something, and like, he won't take damage really.
I don't remember that. I don't know. Maybe so.
And
I remember
then
just like I die on the Bentley parts a lot because
yeah, well, he moves slow because he's a
he
tortoise.
moves slow in the because in this one was he in the wheelchair in this one or was
no,
that
he was not in the wheelchair in this one. It's in the third one. He's in the
that was a
wheelchair.
third one. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
so.
something happens to him in this game or between the two that
It was
he ends up in
between
the
the two.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Manny is he's like a heavy. He hits really hard.
He hits
And
hard. He's slow, but most of the time in this one though, I think you do driving mostly.
yeah. But like when
That's
you
what I
get out
remember.
and you fight hand to hand, like he'll take out most guys in one hit. And he's got plenty of
Destroys
HP, but yeah, he's not like Sly where you can sneak around. Like there's no stealth at all with Manny.
He's like
Yeah.
you probably can't see that very well, but yeah.
It's all good. You can imagine.
Yeah.
Just imagine what an anthropomorphic hippo would look like running.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, so yeah, it looks like there's no notable people who worked on this game other than the composer. Or did you just not find any names?
I couldn't find any. Then I went back to the first game, even there still wasn't any. I'm like, well,
I wonder if there's
okay.
gotta be like a wiki page for this.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't finding anybody.
Okay, Daxter. No.
And it wasn't even the same composer for the first game.
Really? Anyway,
Yeah.
this guy who did compose the game, his name is Peter McConnell.
Peter McConnell.
What has he done? Researching live on YouTube.
Yeah. Did some stuff for Lucas Art and then Sly Cooper games. Except for the first one.
Gameography, yeah. Broken Age. Okay.
Psychonauts.
Costume Quest 2, that's a really fun RPG. I don't play RPGs, but I've seen it played, and yeah, if you like turn-based RPGs that are Halloween themed, which is coming up, you should play Costume Quest. And it's
Costume Quest?
Yeah. It's by
I have heard of that. I've seen someone play that. Oh, that's what that was called.
I saw Tom the Iron Man play it a couple years ago, and yeah.
I might have Costume Quest. I don't know though.
Yeah, so
That's
Connectimals,
right.
because that's a wonderful game. Brutal Legend, another Double Fine game. He's done a lot of work for Double Fine, it looks like. LucasArts. Yeah, I did it, the original Battlefront and Rogue Squadron 2 and X-Wing Alliance. Mysteries of the Sith? Oh my gosh, he's worked on the Jedi Knight? What? That's why this name sounded familiar. Yeah, the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games. Oh dang, Monkey Island 2.
I like Monkey Island games. Those are good.
Yeah, point and click adventure, man.
Yeah.
Can't hardly get that with a console.
You really can't. I mean, like
Sorry.
now I've gone and forgot. King's Quest. Because I love those games. Like that new one came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like was it last year or the year before? And it was
a
like
year or two ago.
yeah, it was still like it felt like the old games. It was a lot of fun. It's like
So it was modern graphics.
Yeah. Exactly.
Quest. Not that one.
Yeah.
2015. So it was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Episodic.
Yeah, over the course of a year. Yeah.
Official release date. So yeah, about 2 years ago, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked on the iMuse engine, which is how they processed music for LucasArts.
Okay.
Yeah. Patented interactive music system. So the music would change dynamically based on where you were in the level or something. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So Peter McConnell, good guy. I like his stuff. But
He sounds like a real nice boy.
yes, he's the good boy. Patrick, you want to tackle these release dates real quick?
Sure thing. We have Sly 2, Band of Thieves, was released on the PlayStation 2 in North America, September 14th, 2004. In Europe, October 29th, 2004. And in Japan on June 16th, 2005. So take that, Japan. You got it last.
Ha, Sony.
Even though they're the publishers for this game. Anyway,
Yeah.
cool.
You'd think they would treat their own country a little better than.
Well, this is an American developer, though. So
That's true.
America, heck yeah.
That's the words of that song.
That's
Right.
definitely there's something somewhere.
Machine guns, heck yeah. Muscle cars, heck yeah.
Mhm.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. Anyway, so so this game's art style is cell shaded. Let's say that properly. Cell shaded, not shell
Hell
shaded. What does shell
shell
shaded
sh-
even mean? I
It's
mean,
probably
means
like when you date, like sate yourself, like with
like
food and
calm
stuff.
down, like
on-
sate.
Yeah, like using like various shells and music, kind of like with the Little Mermaid. You just calm yourself.
Oh
weird-
gosh,
It's a weird explanation.
that brings a whole
Weird.
new meaning to calm.
I don't know. Yeah, I tried to do something with it.
That's
Didn't
where I
work.
went.
It was a nice try.
Yeah, I tried. That's all I can do.
So anyway, this game is cell shaded, like the Wind Waker game on Nintendo. My brain is not working this afternoon.
GameCube.
On the GameCube, that little square
On the Nintendo.
thing that they
Yes.
made with the
The
handle.
Legend of Zelda,
With the
Wind
handle.
Waker on GameCube, and other games. This was not the only. These were not the only cell shaded games. in
Okami.
existence. Okami was on PS2 and the Wii.
And that's actually getting a re-release for
Yeah.
PS4 and Xbox One coming up here real soon.
He announced
Didn't it
that
get
like
on the Wii
2
U?
years ago. I think they put it on
Also.
Wii U. They,
So saying because that would have been fantastic.
I don't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember if it is or
specifically.
not.
Okami HD, yeah,
I don't know.
is coming. It was announced this year, release
Oh.
date.
So not on the Wii U.
Yeah, PS4, PC, PS4, Xbox One. So
Okay.
no Switch version, unfortunately.
No, that's because Capcom's being real weird with.
Okay,
Switch.
there is an HD version on the PS3 though.
Yeah, because it already got an HD, which is why it's weird that
re-release.
this one is being called HD also and not
Yeah.
something else. It's very confusing.
It should be like
HD.
Okami 4K or something.
Yes. Or yeah.
Yeah.
Because that game really needs a 4K upgrade.
Heck yeah.
It works
was-
just fine on the Wii.
Game looks like garbage. It needs 4K.
Yeah. That's it.
Anyway,
I'm waiting for that HD Super Mario 64.
Super Mario
Lord knows
Odyssey.
it's. Huh?
Super Mario Odyssey.
No. Specifically Super Mario 64.
Just Mario
Oh.
64.
Dude,
The
I
poly-
have that.
like, nothing's been changed
Ugh.
about the polygon count. It's just
Oh.
been upward.
Dude, that's Project 64 right there. That's
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever played on that emulator, but
I've
you
not.
get some really crisp polygons in that emulator.
My God, is it just gross to look at still?
Yeah,
And the trees are still in 2D and they just don't turn
Absolutely.
with the camera.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Those
I
are
will
the
never
days, man.
forget
Anyway.
the moment that I discovered that they got around the polygon count limit with 2D sprites in Diddy Kong Racing. I don't know why I'm
Oh.
telling the story now, but like, and I realized they did this in other games later. But like, I was flying around with a plane and I landed on the island that's like all water levels, and I was spinning around on the ground because that's what you do when you're 13 and bored, and And I noticed I happened to land right next to a bush that's on the island, and the bush didn't move. And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And my little tween brain blew.
I remember in Mario 64 climbing up to the top of one of the trees and having him do the handstand,
Yeah,
and then just rotating the camera around the tree and being like, the tree is weirdly still.
yep.
I don't understand what's going on. And
I don't
that's when I figured out how they did that. And then I started noticing it in Mario Kart 64 and
Mario Kart 64 is the
bunch.
worst
yeah.
because
Yeah.
none of the racers in that game actually have a 3D model.
Right.
They are
No.
all 2D sprites, and so the more offset they are from the camera, the more they turn and lean into the turn. So
Yeah.
when you're right
It's-
next to a
It's
racer,
real weird looking.
they're going straight, but they're leaning.
Mhm.
Yeah,
This
Anyway.
game doesn't do any of that, and that's
No.
how it's applicable.
it's
Exactly.
we're supposed to be talking about a PS2 game. We're supposed to be talking
Starring Rocket Raccoon from Guardians
from
of the
Marvel,
Galaxy.
who is British.
Yeah.
And-
Rocket Raccoon and Franklin the Turtle. Sorry.
Mhm.
From
Franklin the Tortoise? From the beloved
turtle in-
child.
Arthur, right? Or no, Franklin was his own
No,
thing.
Franklin was his own thing. Yeah,
That's
no.
right. Was there a
And,
tortoise in Arthur?
There was.
I never watched that show.
It was Turtle or
Now
Tortoise.
y'all are talking about kid shows that I don't know anything about.
Well, Franklin, I remember reading the books. That
I
was
only know Arthur from memes. Like,
Yeah, the little the fist
the
balled
hand.
up.
Yeah. When your name is Arthur and you like to ball up your fist.
anyway,
Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper.
Mhm.
It's cell shaded. It looks really awesome. Even on the
It does.
PS2 today on your 4K TV, it still looks good.
It
But
really
it did
does.
get an HD remake, so it looks even better.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And it's available on the PS3. Is the Sly Cooper collection. It's all three in the original series. There is a fourth game that came out
There
on
is.
PS3.
Thieves in Time, also on the Vita. That's how I had it.
Yeah. Why?
When it came out,
Why
I
was
didn't.
it? Why is it that in both Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper, and I think even Jack and Daxter, in the fourth game they go through time?
The fourth one they don't go through time.
Oh, not in Jack.
Technically, in Jack and Daxter, the one they go through time would be 2.
Oh, okay.
It's like they open up the first game at the end. They open up like there's the giant
That's right.
warp gate, and they go through, and that sends them into the future. Which
In the year 2000. Sorry.
nice.
So I looked up
a-
I looked up pictures of this game so I could see what it looks like, and so I got a wall of memes in Google Images. Is there a card game in one of these Sly Cooper games? Because there's a lot of memes about them playing cards.
Really?
I think
I don't
that's
really
how
know
the
what's
game's
going
possible.
on.
They're playing cards. Because what else do you do when you're a thief without a job? Play cards.
You play
You
poker.
gamble your money.
Is that a thing?
Yep. I don't know. But yes, the game is very pretty, and that's why I firmly stand by any developer's decision to go for style over photorealism, because this game clearly from these images still looks pretty good today.
Yes,
and
it has aged well.
Right. And games
Unlike
that are shooting for
every game I've
photorealism,
played.
especially from back in the PS2 days, they don't look very good right now.
Battlefront. Like, it's hard to go wrong with a Star Wars game, but man, their faces.
Mhm. Oh, faces in games are like the worst.
Yeah. So sound design. I haven't played this game, but I know from the first game that there was a lot of cartoony sound effects, and they had a lot of punch to them, and it just fit the world really well.
Mm.
Yeah.
And based on or can you add any commentary to that, Nolan?
About
Mhm.
the
the sound design.
the sound design. I mean, it's been a while since I have played this. I will admit, like about 10 years. But it was very. I mean, it wasn't the same as the first game, but it does have like a lot of its. Did you say Ducktales? Is that what?
I said punch.
Oh,
Like,
like you said, it was similar to Ducktales. I'm sorry.
hey, DuckTales sound effects have good punch.
Which that's what I was saying. Like I was gonna agree with you on that, but yeah, it is very cartoony sounding, and the one thing it's nice. It's very like. As I remember the first one that like had like those comic book sound effect, like.
Oh yeah, the onomatopoeia
onomatopoeia.
bubbles thing. Yeah.
Yeah, which it kind of did that in this one too, which was nice.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So anyway, I was gonna move on to musical score based on Peter McConnell's other works. I would imagine that the musical score for this game is quite superb. Was there anything that stuck out in your mind from 10 years ago?
Yes, but now that like I've already gone and confused the thing with Bentley and the wheelchair, I'm afraid that this is going to be from the third game as well. But there was one boss battle that I remember that, once again, I'm probably thinking of the wrong game, but it was literally you're fighting this alligator that's like an opera owner, and the entire boss fight is you singing opera back and forth, which is kind of funny. I realize that's not exactly what you're asking about, but
that sounds actually pretty impressive.
Like it was basically you go and like passwords throughout the level were like either, bass, soprano, tenor, or alto, and you sing it in that key, like not in that key because there's many keys, but like you do it in order to like unlock things or like do a password to get by something. No, that's honestly the biggest thing I remember from this game. Besides, you get to play as Bentley and Murray. Was that level in particular stuck out?
Very cool.
So yeah.
There's a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, but there's a few musical puns in this game. There's someone called Contessa, which I don't know. But anyway, this game seems to be a little more musically inclined than the previous game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, this game was better than the first one. Like in most cases, like because the music was a little bit nicer. Like they added a bunch of like new game mechanics to it. Like, I mean, we'll go back to you're not just Sly. You get to learn a lot new skills that you didn't get before, or just things that like in the first game there was a couple times when you try to do something and it would like glitch out on you and it wouldn't work. And then in the second game, like there was those same situations that it would like they fixed it. Obviously, good job doing that, but just polished it up just a little bit more and just made it a lot better.
Yeah. So I was just looking up the Metacritic score, and it did do better with the critics than the first game. So
I would say video games are kind of the exception to the rule that the sequel is never as good as the original. It's usually not like that in video games because like Assassin's Creed is the one that I think is the best example of this. It's like sure. Assassin's Creed 2 was what Ubisoft wanted Assassin's Creed 1 to be, but because it was a new IP and they were working with a new engine and everything, they just didn't quite get there. And then they took everything they learned from the first one and made the second one better. So, yeah. Now, I will say, then a lot of times the third game isn't as good as the second game.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
I don't know if that's just because they get lazy or
that happened
what
with
it is.
Spyro.
Yeah. It did not happen with Super Mario Brothers because 3 is freaking awesome.
The second one was actually the lazy one.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about US.
both of the second ones.
Yeah,
Well, I guess-
even the Japanese ones, like if there were DLC back then.
It was more like a
That
ROM
would've-
hack, actually.
Yeah.
They added like 2 new mechanics, and then they made everything more difficult, which is exactly how ROM hacks work.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, so I guess unlike movies, this the video game, follows the second one is better.
Mhm.
Trope.
Wow, there are a lot of memes for this. It's just, there's so much. It's like it's just jump and press the circle button. Keep calm and jump and press the circle button. Everywhere. Sorry, continue.
Well, like the circle button is kind of like your main action button, isn't it?
And that was like the
No.
jump and press the circle button was like you jump up and you do that little twist and you land on something. You can walk.
Gotcha.
Since I'm not a huge PlayStation guy, I have to. Okay, the circle button is where.
Hold on. I have my Xbox One controller. It'd be the B button.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to
So-
go look. Was it someone the other day posted in the community group
Triangle.
that
Find X or press X.
I hate when games try to
well,
make
no.
press X. This is why I have
Oh,
trust issues.
Because
It's like, where
it's
is
in a
it?
different place no matter what controller you're using.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody posted that Xbox or Microsoft is bringing back the Duke from the original Xbox.
Oh,
that's
I hate that so much. Please no.
Well, I put a comment that, and I gotta be like, I was telling the truth from my perspective, but the only reason I said it was to troll. And weirdly enough, no one took the bait, so it didn't wind up being very much fun for me. But I put in there, I wasn't the biggest fan of this controller, but I can think of at least 4 other controllers that I would throw in the trash before this one. And I was really hoping somebody was going to ask me what controllers I was talking about, and I was going to go DualShock 1, DualShock 2, DualShock 3, DualShock 4. But nobody took the bait, so.
Except that
Joke's on you.
DualShock 2 and 3 fit your hand, and the Duke you need to be the Hulk to use that thing. So
Right. Well,
so that's why you're wrong.
My brother in that same thread posted screenshots from 2 Penny Arcade comics.
Oh man.
One was the one of I can't remember which one's Tycho and which one's the other. I can't even remember his name, but anyway, one of them is holding a bear, and I remember the comic strip because there's like a narrator, and he says, "We've replaced Tycho's Xbox controller with a grizzly bear to see if he realizes it," and he's got his arms wrapped around this grizzly bear, and he's saying, "Did this thing shrink? Where did you get this?" And then there's another one that the focus of the comic is a commentary on the fact that the Halo 1 campaign is kind of repetitive, but the Xbox controllers that they're holding are almost as big as the couch that they're sitting on.
They're like coffee table sized controllers. Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
The Duke.
Bringing it back. I don't know. I might get one just to have it sitting around.
I think it would be cool if they made an adapter for the USB cable, so that way it could still plug into an original Xbox.
Dude, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Like if it came with one, I would totally buy it.
Right.
Just because original Xbox controllers are hard to come by nowadays.
That's true.
They're starting to break, and nobody makes new ones, and so yeah. Anyway,
you can't play this game with that controller, so I don't know. I guess if you could find some crazy adapter that probably would let you play this game with that controller, but not that I know of.
How did we get on controllers when we're supposed to be talking about Slide 2?
Jump and press the circle button.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I said play Sony, so he's like.
I said I had to look up which one's circle. I can't remember. I remember the triangle is the top one, and that's the only one that I can.
B is circle, X is square,
and X is what?
And X is also A.
X is A, yeah. and what's funny is, so like to explain how a Nintendo controller works, you say, oh, the letters are just reversed on an Xbox controller, which is the truth because Nintendo's controller pattern came out first.
Yeah.
That's so yeah. There you go, Microsoft copying Nintendo for once. Anyway. Where was I going? Oh, we're supposed to be talking about story, but who cares? It's a video game. So possible outside influences. If you've ever watched a spy movie in your life or a heist movie, that's what influenced this. Moving on.
Yeah.
So Ocean's 11, The Italian Job.
Yeah.
It's another one.
Ocean's 11. That was one.
Those kinds of movies were pretty big back then too.
Back in the early 2000s. Well, they were really popular in the late 60s, and then they had a resurgence in the early 2000s.
Right,
Yeah.
because there's nothing new under the sun. It's all been done.
Thank you, King Solomon.
And I was just double checking this. Wind Waker did come out 2 years before this, so the cell shading may.
Well, what
of course,
okay.
yeah, I don't know about the first slide.
We're doing this episode because it's the 15th anniversary of the franchise. Yesterday, I want to say. Hold on.
I'm looking up the release date for the first one, and that
September
is
23rd, 2002. Yes, that was right.
Okay.
So yeah, yesterday was the 15th anniversary of the Sly Cooper and the Thieves Raccoonus. So we're doing the sequel because we've already talked about the first game. So yeah. And so moving right along into the impact, obviously this game is the sequel to another game, and it has 2 more sequels in the franchise. So it's part of a franchise. It's the impact. And it kind of, I would say, it solidified cel-shaded graphics on console. Or in the gaming space in general, because it's a genre now of stylistic graphics, of graphic styles. I don't know where I was going with that statement, but like you could search on Steam cell shaded and you will find 100 games or so. Yeah.
I just
Did you guys explain what cell shading?
So cell shading means it looks like a cartoon.
that's the easiest way to say that.
Yeah. A lot of times that's simply accomplished by putting a black outline around everything.
Yeah. Because back in the day, when animation was hand done, you would draw what's called a matte. It's the background. You would paint it. It was a painting. So there would be a matte painter, and he would paint the matte, very meticulous, and it was this very beautiful, detailed, almost out of focus picture, and it was the background. And then on top of that, you would put what are called animation cells, where it's one frame of the action happening at a time. And there were these like transparencies, if you remember what those are, that were drawn on, or like they would draw the animation frame, and then they would kind of trace it over onto the transparency and paint it, and then to make it pop from the background, because it was difficult to have like the animation be different from the background. So to make it pop, they would outline everything with a black marker. And so that way you would stay focused on the action instead of everything becoming a blur.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry for the animation science lesson.
We need who is it? Tyrone in here.
Yeah, Tyrone could talk for an hour about animation and how it all works and theory behind it. But anyway, I just have a vague understanding of how things work. So, yeah. And so in the early 2000s, they were able to emulate this style of making the action pop on the screen with a black outline. Which, I mean, you would think, just put a black outline around it. But that's not exactly the easiest thing to do on a 3D model that, the character is being controlled by the player. If it's, animated one frame at a time or whatever, like, sure, you draw an outline. But, like, what if, it has to happen in real time as the player is interacting with the game. And so it's technically impressive. It's not any more resource heavy, I think, than going for more realistic graphics, but it ages better, as we've talked about.
I don't remember which console generation it was, but there was one of those like X-Men or Marvel games that are almost kind of like Diablo. And
Yes, it's a
one,
dungeon crawler.
one came out for
X-Men Legends?
a Nintendo
Yeah.
console, and it
Legends.
was cell shaded, but the one that came out for the other two systems was not. And I remember that being a thing, and I don't know why. Most people would probably assume, oh, the Nintendo console was weaker than the other two, so maybe that's why. But
That's not true.
especially because I feel like it was the GameCube, and
Yeah,
the
it was the
GameCube
GameCube
was
era.
right up there with the Xbox and
Actually, I think the
hitting
GameCube had the
Xbox
highest
and-
processor of the
Right.
three.
So I maybe it was just because I'm pretty sure even back then it was still Activision. Maybe they just were like, hey, this is what Nintendo people like, so we cell shaded it.
But Activision was the publisher. It's Raven Software was the developer. And
Right. But
Yeah, okay.
I remember that discrepancy between the two versions and finding that interesting. And I wonder I can kind of imagine what it would look like, but if you could take a cell shaded game like Wind Waker or like this and freeze all of the animation, including the black outline around them, and then move the camera around the character without the black outline adjusting itself, I wonder what that would look like. 'Cause I think
that's weird because the black outline is based on the lighting.
yeah,
So you'd have to like break the lighting engine.
that'd be weird. Somebody do this. I want to see what it looks like. I'm sure somebody already has.
Breath of the Wild is technically cell shaded.
Yeah. It's very, very thin
Yeah.
line.
And there's actually a glitch. I don't know if they patched it yet, but there's a glitch somebody found on the bridge. What bridge? Oh my gosh. Lineru? No. Yeah.
Mm.
There's a bridge over the Lake Hylia in Lineru where one of the towers has a chunk that fell out. And if you climb up to that empty space, the cell shading disappears. There's no outline around Link. And
Yeah, I heard of. I
really,
think I
really
saw.
weird.
I saw I didn't watch the video, but a YouTube video popped up in my recommended feed, and
it's the only genuine graphics glitch in that game.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
When you think about how big that game is.
And Bethesda still can't release it.
Step up your game, Bethesda.
How many years was Fallout 4 in development? Like
I don't know.
5 or something?
Well, how many years was
Breath of the Wild was 5.
Breath of the Wild was 5. So
and I remember one of the funniest Twitch clips I've ever seen. Patty is his name now, but he used to go by Peacole 44444. It's 5 4s, by the way. He was playing Fallout 4 on release day, and he's walking around, and he turns a corner, and there are these. I don't even know what they are. I think they're death claws, just floating in the air. Like, no, now I remember. It's the cows, whatever they're called. The Brahmas. There's like these 3 Brahmas just like floating.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, what the heck is going on? And he's like walking around. He's like, okay. And so he pulls out his gun and he shoots one of them, and a high level deathclaw, I forget what it's called, like a captain deathclaw, whatever, just rises
Legendary.
out of the ground.
Like legendary.
Out of nowhere. If you watch the clip closely, he literally just pops out of the ground.
That's weird.
And that's when he starts swearing and running. And the clip ends. But yeah, it's really funny to watch. It's good job, Bethesda. That didn't happen in Breath of the Wild.
How
I died like 10 times before I ever saw anything weird happen.
in general, does this game perform pretty well? Like technically,
Yeah, well, the first game ran super smooth. Never had a
Yeah.
problem with it.
yeah.
Like the only time I was like getting any kind of weird interaction was when I was trying to go places I wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, and that's
That'll
basically
happen.
that's basically the game saying, "Don't go here. Stop that." But me being the rebel, I am.
Like,
Yeah.
no, you can't tell me what to do.
Me being the rebel that I am with my toad amiibo. Like it's hard to put on this persona when I'm really not.
Yeah. I have a toad amiibo somewhere.
Yeah, I
don't.
This is really me. I am short and small and squishy.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah. So anyway,
Is this game connected to the other than the characters? Is it connected to the first one in any meaningful way?
Yeah. So
well, it's a continuation.
what it is, yeah, it's so like the plot setup for this is that this game is 2 years after you beat Clockwork, who's like the main leader of the bad guys from the first game. Sly breaks into the Cairo Natural History Museum to take the remaining pieces that have been found of him and destroy them in order to end the threat that he had against his family. And turns out they've already been stolen by this gang and whatnot. So it's then Sly
Cairo,
gets the
Egypt.
Cairo,
Yes.
Egypt.
Yeah,
So
they
this
use
takes place on
real-world-
Earth.
They use real world locations, but with anthropomorphic animals.
Yeah.
Are there humans in this world?
No.
No,
Okay, so there's no risk of hedgehog on human making out. going
No.
on.
no. Thank
No.
God.
No.
We do not support that. It's in Leviticus.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
Speaking of, did you guys hear that Sega teamed up with Hooters to do something with Sonic?
I
the Hedgehog?
did.
No.
What the
Like,
heck?
what is
The
that?
Sonic Forces game it has got a cross promotion with them.
Hooters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They have good chicken.
They're gonna see if they can't get one of the
Fried
waitresses
pickles.
to make out with the guy in the Sonic costume.
Oh.
Make it a reality.
Oh.
I'm sorry if you're listening to this show with your children. Maybe you should screen your kids' entertainment better.
If you're under 18, you no.
Yeah.
Why are you even our fans? Like,
That game's rated E, right?
Sonic Forces?
No, Sonic 06, isn't that
No,
the
that's
one?
I think it's teen.
Oh, it should be. So
It's teen. Yeah. So it dawned on me that I forgot that I talked earlier about like how this game had done a lot of new things, but I couldn't remember what they were. So as I was going through looking for stuff,
It's
like
E10 plus.
I'm just thinking, oh okay, well there we go. That one of my favorite things to do is they introduced pickpocketing in this game.
Oh, that's right.
So what you do is you sneak up behind a guard and you can just like use your cane and grab stuff out of their pockets. You can like grab all of their money or if they have a key, rather than having to actually attack them, kind of steal it. And then, or you get like gems and whatnot. And in this one too, it's like the levels are really, you're just in a big giant hub kind of situation. And you go to certain locations in the overworld hub in order to start a mission kind of thing.
yeah.
And you don't find power-ups and whatnot inside random safes like in the first one. What it is, by pickpocketing, you get those coins and whatnot. You buy them on the black market for an in-game online store called ThiefNet.
Oh, you said ThiefNet. I thought you said BeefNet for a second there. I was like,
BeefNet.
in the world.
Yeah.
That's
So
an interesting name.
and
Do they eat beef in a world where everything is an anthropomorphic animal?
Well,
don't
I don't know.
maybe.
Mickey is an anthropomorphic mouse with a pet dog, whose best
true.
friend is a dog named Goofy.
Yeah. They can
So-
talk, so it's
Yes.
kind of it's weird.
Yeah.
I kind of always thought Goofy looked a little bit more like a. I guess he does look like a dog. I thought he kind of.
Well, his original name was called Dippity Dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
he does have
There's-
floppy ears.
there's one other thing that, well, I didn't have this because I didn't have the microphone, but on the PS2, there's USB
was
microphone you could use. Yeah, no, right. That you can use the sound of your own voice to distract or attract in-game enemies,
Why though?
kind of thing.
Like
So-
by shouting commands or
By
just any
by
noise
shouting,
at
like,
all?
"Hey, you," or something, and it would like they'd come around or something, or
Hey, you, Pikachu.
there's, yeah, which kind of was a cool thing because like in game, if you had that on, it's like you had to be extra quiet when you were playing as Sly, because if you like cough or something, it kind of does that, which is kind of cool. Which,
yeah.
I hadn't seen another game do that since Alien game that came out. a couple years-
Oh, Isolation.
yeah, thank you.
Where
Yeah,
you
Alien
actually
Isolation.
had to be quiet.
You had to actually be quiet. Like if you had, yeah, like. So I remember like hearing about that. It was like, yeah, if you could, I mean, you can toggle it off if you're just a wuss.
Yeah, but if you left your Connect
Yeah.
on and
Your Connect
you
or
were
even just
talking,
had a microphone connected to your computer,
just a microphone,
it would
oh, damn.
tap into that. Yeah,
I-
like if you have
I'm
something like that, it would use that.
Somebody's like getting real close to the end of a level that they've had a lot of trouble on, and like, I'm gonna beat it, and then from
And
the
the alien
background,
pops out of nowhere.
come take out the trash, and now all of a sudden the alien knows where you are.
Whips around. Yeah, like or you're hiding in the
Whoa.
locker and like you sneeze and like it comes back and pulls you out and then you die. Yeah,
That's pretty
but- So yeah, so that was a cool thing that I didn't, like I said, I didn't have a microphone, so I couldn't do this, but it's adds a cool little element to that.
That's better than in Halo Anniversary. One of the ways that you could throw a grenade was by yelling at your Connect grenade. Like, I don't know why, but it was really
Xbox.
awful. Well, what was awful was, so I tried it once because
Xbox turn off.
I had a Connect.
Did you actually turn on your Xbox?
No. I don't have a Connect. That's more of me being a
being
slight jerk
mean
to anyone listening
anybody
to this
listening?
with their Xbox on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so I tried this feature out, so I yell grenade. And of course, because it takes a few seconds for the Connect to like process what happened, that also means it takes a few seconds for Master Chief to actually get around to throwing the grenade. It was a completely worthless feature.
Of course.
There's no way in the world.
Unless you know what's
anybody
going
was
to
gonna do
happen, so you have to anticipate. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I should throw a grenade in a few seconds. So you go, grenade.
Yeah.
Its only real good use was you could walk into a room with someone playing the game and shout grenade, and then like
and in fact, just said that in the chat.
And if you're shouting, you're the guy playing the game is staring at a wall, and so Master Chief just chucks a grenade right there at your feet, and you die. And that's what was fun about it.
Jerk move. But funny.
That's
Yep.
funny. It's like in Super Mario Brothers U, you can grab the gamepad when someone is playing with another controller, and you can put platforms right over their head.
And then they die.
Yeah, and they die. Like, yeah.
When that game had first come out, someone's like a parent was asking me about it because they knew I played games, and they're like, my kid keeps telling me that he wants this. I don't know. I think it's called Super Mario University. For the longest time, I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm like, I'm not familiar with this, and then it hit me that he was interpreting the U as university, and I went,
Yep.
oh no, that's this
No.
game.
It's just the letter U. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's a
And-
pun, actually. We, you,
and
because they were about community.
and that's why that console's name was terrible.
Bad idea right here.
Nobody knew.
And now it's time for another good idea, bad idea.
But to
This
be
is
fair,
what you should have been. This
that
is
bad
not.
idea is why the good idea exists.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't remember. Is this game a 2D platform? And when I say 2D, I know that the game is in 3D, but it's not a side scroller. It's a 3D.
No, it is
Yeah,
side scroller. It is a 3D platformer. Not so much collectathon as the first one.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, there's still plenty of things to collect, but like, you don't have to like collect things to unlock things to collect other things.
Yeah,
Really.
it's not as bad.
But for the most part, it stayed pretty true to the.
Yeah,
the
well,
farming.
it's stealth. Actually, it's a stealth game. So
Yeah.
like the
Okay.
point is, don't get caught and run around and steal things.
Yeah, because I remember, and I know that Nolan hasn't picked Jack 3 because we haven't finished Jack 2, but
I know I want you two to like finish Jack 2 because
if I ever find time.
One of the reasons that I kind of just got a little tired of Jack 2 was it seemed like it was trying too hard to be a 3D platformer without being a 3D platformer, and there was a lot of, you could tell there was like a Grand Theft Auto influence to
there
it.
was,
And it just
it's jack people's cars in the middle of everything.
And didn't click with me.
Well, one of the fun times was just doing that and seeing how far you can run from the Crimson Guard. Start shooting up Crimson Guards and see how far you can last. that was like my buddy would play that, and that's all he'd do. He wouldn't even try to play the game. He would just do that.
See, that sounds like how I played Grand Theft Auto 3. Was just put in the cheats to get all the weapons and the tank and stuff and just cause mayhem and see how long I can last before the cops take me out.
Yeah.
So. But anyway.
Yeah. Never played any of those games.
The Grand Theft Auto games?
Yeah. I think my brother had San Andreas on his PS2, and he let me play for like a little while, but I was just like, what am I supposed to do? I was completely lost in the game, and I was not interested.
Yeah, I did complete the story in GTA 5. I didn't get into the online at all. I know there's still, that game still sells very well because the online is apparently that stinking good. But I was perfectly content to play through the campaign and then be done with it. So, which, I mean, what I meant was GTA is of the devil, and we're all Christians here, and no one here plays that.
Who plays video games?
Like, this is I spend all of my days reading the Bible and praying and fasting. I haven't eaten in 3 months. That's not true. I was literally eating while on the show.
We've all done it.
Yes.
It's fine.
Actually, yeah, we have all done it. I think last podcast I was eating.
I usually do it like, well, I try to do it beforehand. They were like, I'll do it and just.
I had way too much to eat.
Subtle.
Today.
So yeah, you had a day.
You need to go back and listen to what happened today.
And a fix. Don't kill your nephew. It's not nice.
He used to pee when I told him not. Oh well, and he deserved that. Like, you know what? That's on him.
Oh man, somebody's trying to butter you up real good.
Just cause into the GTA.
Just cause. I like Just Cause. Just Cause is a
Yeah.
good thing. I don't have Just Cause 3 yet, but that's a real good game. I enjoy those. So, all right. Are we running out of steam on the? Yeah.
I think we're wrapping up.
There's no trivia for this or anything.
I didn't have time.
I kind of
research.
talked about it a little bit. Like that was like some of the stuff I was just talking about. Like, you know, they added that in there. As for real trivia stuff, there's not really anything. I don't like that. Metacritic. I didn't see it.
Don't look at it. No, you didn't.
I love that.
I didn't,
one of the reasons that I decided to switch this show to every other week was so we would have more time to play the game, and we didn't play the game.
I don't have a way to play this right now. So that's my issue.
Yeah. Well, I guess the collection's on PS3, so I guess technically I have a way to play it if I would go get it.
Okay, so one bit of trivia. If you hold down R1, R2, L1, and L2 at the title screen in Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal, a hidden demo of Sly 2 Band of Thieves will be unlocked. Successfully completing the demo will give you access to a cheat which replaces your wrench with a double-bladed laser sword.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because again, we mentioned this earlier. Soccer Punch was part of the big three platformers, the PS2 era. So that
them and Insomniac and
Naughty Dog. And Naughty Dog made Ratchet and Clank. So
Yeah.
there's a poster of Jack and Daxter in Ratchet and Clank 2, which is up your arsenal.
Wait, Naughty Dog? I thought Insomniac made Ratchet and Clank.
No, Insomniac.
You're
You're
right,
right,
because Naughty Dog did
Naughty Dog
Jack.
was Jack and Daxter.
My bad.
Yeah.
Wait,
Insomniac.
we're gonna get so many tweets.
Oh my
How
gosh,
dare you.
from all 10 of our followers. Actually, I can't look. I'm on the computer. But anyway, actually, I can. It's It's like I'm nearing 400 on my personal account. So,
I'm nowhere near that.
Send some of those 400 over to CFG.
These are random people that follow me just because, like, we've got 80. No, that's number of tweets. We have 26 followers on OGC. What about CrossForge?
CrossForge's Twitter, or because I know on YouTube
there are
we
27
have 73
followers.
All right, you don't even. There's a whole bunch of people following Twitter accounts that aren't active.
I know.
We don't do anything with them because we're terrible people.
I think part of the reason why I have 390 followers is because I'm actually active on my Twitter. Like I tweet every couple days.
And I just don't tweet very much.
I do it instead of using Facebook.
Yeah, like I reply and stuff, but it's like
I see you replying to Nick all the time.
I do, and that's the main thing. I reply to Nick because that's like the easiest thing. Because I'm like, oh hey, it's not buried under a million other things too.
Can you guys hear that?
What?
No?
No, can't say that I do.
Yeah.
I was on Twitter quite a bit a couple of days ago because I was giving EA an earful about me being locked out of my Origin account and them not being able to help me. And after I did that, someone from an account called EA Help sent me a message and was like, hey, follow EA Help so that I can DM you and we'll help you get this. And it's been a slow process because, you know, like they'll send me a message and because I'm bad about checking Twitter, it'll be like a day later when I see it. But it looks like they might actually be helping me.
Wow.
I should have said that in my what have I been doing this week. So for those of you who don't know, and I posted this in the CFG community, someone from Russia got access to my Origin account, and now I don't have access to it. And the only reason that I know it's someone from Russia is because my Xbox gamer tag is tied to my Origin account for games like Battlefront and stuff like that. So I was able to access my Origin account through the Origin network website by logging into my Microsoft account. But all that let me do was see the account. It doesn't actually let me make any changes to it. And so I get logged in and, you know, a little message pops up, welcome back. And then some Russian guy's name because it's not me anymore. But the problem that I was having with their tech support was they asked me one of my security questions, which is in Russian now. So obviously
is that what that was? I remember seeing the picture. I'm like, what is it?
So clearly I couldn't read it, much less answer it. And then the guy was like, well, let me send you a verification code to your email address. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. Someone changed all of my information. If you send a verification code to the email address attached to my account, it won't be my email address. So I went on a tirade on Twitter. And actually, that's what I've gotten the most use out of Twitter for. Anytime I'm having a problem with the company, because I've had this with Olive Garden.
I remember the Olive Garden one.
There was Colton Steakhouse, and now EA. So if you can't get a company to help you out, just get on Twitter and complain about them and make sure you tag them, because that way obviously their motivation for suddenly caring and wanting to help you is now when people are
bad
searching,
publicity.
yeah, and they don't want that. So I'm
We've
not.
all seen it happen where somebody's tweet goes viral.
Yes.
And the company didn't do the right thing about it.
Yeah, and I'm not advocating that you make stuff up to get free stuff. That's
please.
crummy. I only do this when there's actually a problem, and I only do it when I try to get the problem fixed by not making a big scene and it not working. So, because I want to give everyone the opportunity to make it right before I go smearing their name all over the internet. So
Exactly.
So that's what Twitter's good for. Otherwise, it's just a cesspool of garbage, like most of the rest of social media.
The internet in general.
Yeah, which is why I want my living to be made on the internet.
But
for some
Twitter is
stupid reason.
special when it comes to like the kind of filth it produces.
Yeah, it's kind of like Tumblr light.
Yeah, really is.
But Tumblr has, well, no, never mind. I was like, Tumblr has funny things that I'm like, wait, no, so it's
It doesn't.
But the funny things that are on Tumblr are people being awful.
I know. Well, not always. Sometimes
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of it
true.
is, but sometimes it's just like when there's just that giant bunch of like my favorite's the thing with tea and English people and then American people talking about tea.
Those are funny.
It's like, is your tea liquidized? How do you drink your tea? It comes from a tea bag.
Who puts ice in tea?
All right, you know what, England? Calm yourself because you've only had tea for like 3 centuries. You took it from China. They've had it for like 15. So
yeah, but
calm yourselves.
It's not like
at
China
least
was
England has
playing
a
nice, isn't
sense
it?
not to ice their tea. Like they still drink it like the Chinese do.
Yeah, I like both. I
I
don't care.
You know,
Anna,
I like
Anna Fix, what happened with the steak was they
It wasn't cooked at all.
the actual problem is too long of a story to get into, but what they wound up trying to do was giving us a gift certificate. They refunded us our money and then they gave us a gift certificate to go back. But quite honestly, like with Olive Garden, it was just, I've been to Olive Garden, you know, dozens of times. I know that generally they do a good job. So them giving me a gift card or something is like, yeah, sure, I'll go back and go to another location. But this Colton's, like, I'd only been this one time and the experience was so bad that I'm like, I'm never going back there. So the fact that they gave me a gift certificate, I was like, I mean, I'm fine with that. Corporate tried to make it right. I'm never going to use this thing because I'm not going to go back to a Colton's. But yeah, so that's all that happened. Corporate did eventually do what I think they could reasonably to fix the problem. So anyway, is it time to guess the Metacritic score?
I think so.
sure.
We got that time. All right.
Chaps.
Yes.
All right.
So, Joel, you're hosting.
Yes.
Explain the rules.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we like to play a little game here on the show called Guess the Metacritic Score, where since this is my game that I picked. Sorry, I'm slouching. I just realized.
Shame on you.
Since this is the game that I picked, I know the score, and these two guys have to try and guess it without going over, Price is Right style. So if they both go over, they both guess again. And closest answer without going over wins. But there is no prize other than acclamation.
Yep.
Anyway, so
And since there's actually a benefit to going last, I finally, the last time we played this, made the rule that in the order that we pick the game is how we're going to go. So Nolan, since it's your game next, you're going to go first.
Okay. So I'm gonna, because this was a great game, and I know it has been on many of like the top 10 PS2 game lists. I'm gonna go high with this one. I'm gonna shoot for like 88.
okay.
Go with like an 88 type situation.
He's actually played the game. I haven't.
That's the other part. I know. I'm
So,
like,
I'm gonna be that guy and guess
89. You know, 89 me.
$1.
Oh, $1. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that your
so-
guess? 89.
Yeah, 89. That's my guess.
Okay. Well, Patrick went over. It was 88.
Oh!
On the money, winner, winner.
I swear I didn't look that up. That was just like, oh,
There you go.
do I get extra points for something on the money? Oh my
You get
gosh.
extra cool points.
Oh,
So yes, there's an
Oh.
advantage to going second unless the guy who went first gets it spot on.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yeah, no matter what you were gonna do,
Yeah.
Patrick, you were not gonna
I
win.
wasn't gonna win. So.
Unless you guessed 88 also, but that's not how we played this game.
That's no,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that's against the rules and Prices Right. Also, you're not
yeah, you
allowed to
can't
guess.
guess the exact same amount.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, all right.
Yeah, let's see. This actually got a perfect 100 from official US PlayStation Magazine.
Ooh,
So
So I'm saying like
they're biased.
it's high up. Yeah,
yeah.
high up there like on a lot of lists.
There are 64 reviews. Actually, let's see. Game Shark gave it 100. Computer Games Magazine, Cheat Code Central, Dark Station, Warcry.
Hold on, Game Shark used to rate games like the
I think
little
this is
Game
like a-
Genie like thing.
No, this is not a real website anymore. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. Did Game Shark used to?
I have
like
no
games?
idea.
It's GameShark.com. Is the link that it's, or is it? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, GameShark.com. Okay, but the link isn't working. Shark.com.
I'm actually
No,
looking this-
it temporarily down, moved permanently to a new address. Yeah, so we're getting DNS. Awesome.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have no idea if this is like the Game Shark cheat thing or if this is just happens to have the same name.
Right.
Yeah, so those are all the high reviews, hundreds. It lots in the 90s and 80s. Yeah, it goes from the lowest review is 60 by Edge Magazine. Overdependence on legwork over the bulk of each world robs the game of its sparkle, making it feel more work ethic sweatshop than well-paced sweet shop. Oh, I'm trying to go for play on words there. Okay. Anyway, somebody
That's
didn't
weird.
like this game.
Apparently
and their
not.
opinion is wrong. Anyway, yeah, that was Guess the Metacritic Score. Bum, bum, ba-da.
Yeah.
Copyright.
Bod muted.
Copyright strike. CBS. All right. Nolan, do you know the game?
Yep.
You had
I
your
do.
game.
He knows the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was like down to 3 that I've been thinking about like all week.
So Patrick, since your game is after his, I guess you go first.
Yes. This is the part of the show where we play 20 questions.
Oh,
Find out what the game is for the next time we have an episode. And it's Nolan's turn, so he knows what the game is. Joel and I do not.
Mhm.
So yeah, I will go first, and I will ask a weird question.
You're doing my thing.
I'm not gonna go super weird. Was this game released on a optical disc format, such as CD, DVD, Blu-ray?
Hey. No, it was not.
no.
Interesting. Oh, that's a good one.
Well, is
No.
this? Hey,
Sorry, go ahead.
I need caffeine in my brain right now. Was this what am I trying to say?
Was it only on one console?
Or yeah, was this a platform exclusive? Like was it only on a Nintendo console?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're saying yes to the question, was it a platform exclusive? Not to the question, was it only on a Nintendo console? Is that
I'm
correct?
saying yes that it was a platform
It
exclusive.
was a platform exclusive. Okay. Was this game released before January 1st, 1990?
No.
No.
Was this released? Well, it's probably a 90s game though, because there weren't very many.
Yeah, and unless it
2000.
was like a digital only release.
That didn't happen.
Not very often within the time
time
frame that is our criteria.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to say it anyway. Was this released after January 1st, 2000?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we're definitely talking about a 90s game. Is this game well, we already know it's exclusive to some platform. Was this game on a Nintendo platform?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So 90s Nintendo, which is almost all of their consoles.
Yep.
Was this on the NES?
No.
Okay. Patrick?
What did you ask? I like spaced out there for a
It's on the
second.
NES.
I asked, was it on the NES?
Was it on the NES? No. Okay. Is it on the SNES?
No.
Is this on the N64?
No.
Okay,
know.
it's not on the NES, it's not on the SNES, and it's not on the N64, but it came out in the 90s. So, I mean, we got to be looking at a portable. But then, like, which portable? When did the GBA come out?
It wasn't the 90s.
It wasn't the 90s. Okay. Well, just was this on? I feel like I'm throwing a question away, but I want to be sure. What was it on a one of the Game Boy systems?
Yes.
Okay.
But the color came out in like 99 or something.
Yeah.
Which is technically a different console.
This is true.
Right, because the Game Boy
As we've been over when red, blue, and yellow.
Yes. Because the Game Boy Pocket was just a redesign of the
Game Boy Advance.
fat one, so it's not.
Oh, the Game Boy.
What?
Sorry, I was thinking the Game
Pocket.
Boy Micro. Not
Yeah,
the
not
Pocket.
Micro.
The
Pocket.
Pocket was just a
Redesign
redesigned
of original
Game Boy Fat.
Game Boy Color
that-
was.
Did you call it the Game Boy Fat?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Which I realize is something that PlayStation people call the there's the PS3 Fat and all that
And the
stuff.
Slim.
Yeah, I got
That's
a
probably
PS3
where I
Fat right
took it
here.
from.
Fat
Yeah.
Slim. Gotcha. Yeah. So that was 9.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is this a Mario game?
Nope.
We should
Is
narrow it down.
the game, was it published by Nintendo?
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that one. It was in fact published by Nintendo.
Okay.
I have an idea.
He wasn't sure, so it could be like Kirby
Well,
game.
Because sometimes it's like I'm positive it is, and then oh wait, no, it's not. It's something else.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if it was HAL or Rare even put out a few Game Boy games.
No questions from the audience even.
Yeah.
Anifix is like, they just ignore me anyway.
I've not been ignoring you.
I was waiting for him to ask one.
Yeah. Is this a Pokemon game?
Is not. I almost did.
Oh yeah, because that would not have been developed by Nintendo, but it would have been published. Gosh, is it a Zelda game?
Nope.
Okay.
We
only
already did the only Zelda game though.
no.
Yeah, we
there's
Well, it's
there's-
technically
there's the Oracle games.
Oracle games are Game Boy Color.
yeah, but that
Oh.
came out after 2000.
You're
They
right.
did.
Yeah.
They came out right as the Advance came out because I remember they had a special thing.
They did have an
You played
advanced feature.
If you played it on the Advance, that you could open up a special room.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Is this a sci-fi game?
Yes.
I know what it is.
Yeah, I figured. I'm like, you're
Sci-fi
gonna get it
game.
pretty soon.
Well,
I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
I haven't
Well,
zeroed
you know
in
what,
on
Patrick?
it. So
Think about recent events and games.
oh,
Yeah.
that's funny because I was actually thinking about doing this game for mine. Okay, does the main character defy the laws of physics and mass by rolling into a ball?
Yes.
Okay.
It's this Metroid 2.
Yes, it is.
Samus Return. Or Return of Samus.
Return of
Return of
Samus.
Samus. Yes, Samus Returns is the
remake.
3DS remake.
Yeah.
we're talking about. Which
Yeah,
I've
it's
actually
down to
heard.
this and like Pokemon Gen 2.
Mm.
And
Oh,
Grab
yeah,
by the
'cause-
Ghoulies. I almost want to do that, but I'm like, that's gonna be stupid. Like, you're like,
Grab
oh,
by
it's
the
on the
Ghoulies.
Xbox. Is it this?
Yeah, is it? Well, because the Pokemon Gen 2's got a Virtual Console release date.
Yeah.
For
it does.
for 3DS. I don't know. It's not out yet? Is it?
No.
I didn't think so.
It's coming. I think November because it's supposed to be about the same time as Ultra Sun
As
and Moon.
Ultra Sun, yeah.
Oh,
And it's
cross
there.
promotion.
And Virtual Console, of course, that term is used very loosely to describe these games because if you know anything about Virtual Console, you know Nintendo doesn't like touching them. But for these games, they added Wi-Fi support and replaced the Game Link support with Wi-Fi support, and you cannot save your state.
Yeah.
In those games. And if you know anything about Pokemon, you'll understand why save states would
Be cheap.
probably break the game.
Yeah, it would.
So, well, cool. I've actually I've never played this, but a few years ago, I bought a big Game Boy carrying case that looks like a Game Boy with a handle. And I gutted the inside of it and turned it into a case for my 3DS. What I didn't know when I bought it, and actually I kind of wonder if the person who sold it to me even realized it, because when I opened it, there were a bunch of Game Boy games inside of it that was not in the ad when I bid on it on eBay. And this game was in there. So I've never played it, but I have a copy, and I do have a working Game Boy Color somewhere around here. So hopefully,
well, this was not Game Boy Color though. But
well, right, but it'll still work.
Yeah.
Yes, it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, Game Boy was backwards compatible. So
yeah,
cool. When other than Game Boy, what is this available on?
So it did get a Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console like back in 2011.
Okay.
So you can get on there.
Isn't that part of the ambassador program? Or am I Mr. Okay.
I think it was. Obviously, the remake came out last week, which is part of why I ended up choosing this instead of Gen 2.
Mm-hmm.
Was because Samus Returns came out last week.
I have heard that other than like the very basics of the story and the map layout, it's a pretty big departure from the original Game Boy game. Because like I was listening to Nintendo Voice Chat, which is IGN's Nintendo podcast, and one of the hosts was asking someone else on the show who had played it how it compared to Metroid Zero Mission, which was a remake of the very first Metroid. And
is that what Zero Mission is?
Yeah. It's a remake of the first game with some extra map in it. There's like an extra section where Samus goes into Zero Suit Samus mode.
Yeah,
that part's not in the original game.
And well, the mechanics are taken from Fusion.
Yeah. So there's
Wall
like
jumping and
you can
stuff.
aim diagonally, and there's wall jumping and stuff like that. So anyway, somebody was asking how the Metroid 2 remake compared to the original Metroid 2, like Zero Mission to the first one, and the person who was being asked said that it's an even bigger departure because Zero Mission was pretty faithful to the original. Mine is what they added and the how you control Samus being updated. It sounds like the remake of Metroid 2 is pretty significant. So, and that's not to say that if you have that game that you couldn't play it and still be able to follow along with us on the show. But I'm just pointing it out because a lot of times we recommend playing remakes or something because that's what's available, and they're usually pretty close to the original game, and that
like
might
the Kirby Superstar on DS.
right. And just pointing out that that may not necessarily be the case with this one. I don't have it. I haven't played it. I don't really know. But
Yeah.
anyway,
but you can't get it on
cool.
Virtual Console for the 3DS.
Yeah, I have Metroid 2. I bought it at the Retro Game Expo back in whenever that was, February or something. Yeah, but I still haven't played it because I'm bad at playing video games. I have lots of them, and I have no time.
It's the curse of being an adult.
Suddenly, you have about this earlier.
We talked about this earlier. It was the same thing.
You have expendable income but not expendable time. All right. I guess we should do some plugs and get on out of here.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Noah.
Am I first? Okay, that's right. I am first. I always forget that I'm first. All right. Well, you can find me on the internet at Baseman214, Baseman21491, or Icy White Falcon on various gaming things like Xbox, Steam, or Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Technically my YouTube. I've been thinking about trying to get back into that, considering how much fun I had streaming the other day. So I might get back into maybe just recording stuff. We'll see. But yeah. So there you go. Let me know.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, anywhere you can find me on the internet, you can find me under Obi-Watt Kenobi. Be Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and the like. I've also been trying to think about, that's not what I meant to say. Thinking about trying to revive my streaming channel or YouTube or something. So I don't know. I'm tired. I've had a crazy long day. You need to go back and listen to the beginning.
We need to find that guy that took your username on Uplay and ask him onto the show.
Right.
And then just spend an hour and a half grilling him about stealing your name.
Why he's a terrible person. Russian hacker, probably.
Why do you hate babies? It's like, what? You can find me. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook.com/HugeCowPatty, on Twitter at Patrick Proper. You can find me right here on the CrossForge Gaming YouTube channel, also at crossforgegaming.com, which will take you to our main Facebook page, or you can find us at facebook.com/groups/CrossForge Gaming. I'm working on a calendar of things for CrossForge Gaming. That'll be on the main page, and if Facebook works the way that I think it does, you should probably also be able to find that just linked in the community group. So that way you'll know when all of our tournaments are, when all of our community game nights are, which we're starting community game nights next month. I'm really excited about that. That was something that I really enjoyed doing while I was on the volunteer staff at Geeks Under Grace. So we're reviving that. You can find me on Mixer, on Twitch. I'm trying to start getting that wasn't a sentence. I'm trying to start being more active in all of those places as well. So, yep, that's my life online though is mostly CrossForge Gaming, so that's where you'll find me. You can find Original Gamers Podcast on Twitter at official OGcast, and the audio feed for this at ogcast.podbean.com. And I believe I've mentioned before that will eventually be making a permanent move to Patreon. It will not be behind a paywall. Patreon has a podcasting hosting service that we're going to start trying to utilize, and Podbean will just be one less place for you to find us, and kind of consolidating everything. It just makes everything easier. All right, before we go, I believe we have some music to talk about.
Yes, well, because I didn't play this game and I don't have time to listen to music, I just picked the first 2 tracks from the OST, which worked pretty well for an intro and an outro. So if you are listening to the audio version of this podcast, you would have heard the museum at the beginning, and you're about to listen to the museum chase here to play us out.
Those are pretty good. I like those.
I will find out if they're good when I look them up on YouTube and put them in the audio feed.
Yeah, the links are in the docs. So
Yep.
Yay. All right, that's going to do it for us here on Original Gamers Podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
be good, humans.
T.